Ooh la la, coming from France. Gianluigi Donnarumma, tutto bene, being linked to Chelsea. Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you're doing well. I do genuinely hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea news. This on the eve of the big final. I have actually previewed Chelsea versus Paris Saint-Germain. Do go check it out if you want to. But L'Équipe, La Publication Française, has spoken about Gianluigi Donnarumma. 1 year left in his contract. He has loosely been linked to Chelsea. I mean, people could talk about this as an article that's just trying to unsettle him on the eve of the final. But I don't know why a French publication would do this to their beloved Paris Saint-Germain. I don't know, mate. We're going to get into it, though. We are going to talk about the goalkeeping situation at large as well, because there's a good vibe at Chelsea. Look, whatever happens, provided we don't lose, don't do a Real Madrid or an Inter Milan and lose 4 and 5-0. By the way, two teams that had that are big teams. Inter Milan were in the race for the treble to the end. Real Madrid have made loads of signings. They've got a hotshot new manager. They both got absolutely slapped by PSG. So provided we do better than that, I think it will be good enough. But generally, there's a good vibe at Chelsea at the moment. And everyone's like, yeah, Chelsea are good. They got good attackers. They got good midfield. They got good defenders. They might need, some Cucurella back up. But there's one thing that everyone agrees on, and that's the man between the sticks. And loathed as I am to, rag on a guy who's part of a good high-performing team at the moment, but that's just how I feel, and that's how many people feel. We're going to react to this article on Goalkeeper. Thanks for joining me. You're all welcome here, of course, mate. So thanks for dropping a like on the video. Thanks for subscribing. Probably worth mentioning that many of my viewers are returning viewers, and you don't subscribe. So why don't you just click the button, mate? Subscribe. Alright, so I'm going to react to a translated article. My reading French isn't particularly great, and I'm not sure I'll be able to translate it without totally butchering it. So we're going to do it in translated by Google, so it might sound a bit peculiar, because let's be honest, French is a very silly language, and I say that as a guy who is half French. It's very peculiar, it makes no sense. It's a silly language. I'm allowed to say it, because probably more than half of me is French. When you're talking numbers, why can't there be a translation, structurally like 84? Why do you have to say 84, or whatever? 4 20s and a 4. That's a silly way of doing counting. Anyway, let's read this. 1 year from the end of his contract with PSG, Gianluigi Donnarumma is still in the dark. He feels like he's been around forever, Gigi Donnarumma, doesn't he? I think he was either 15 or 16 years old when he became the first choice goalkeeper for Milan. So he's been around forever. He does feel like he's had this... How old is Donnarumma? Because he feels like he's 26. So he's been a first-team goalkeeper for a decade. And he's 26. Which you could say like he's yet to enter his prime as a goalkeeper at 26. Because they go on for like another 10 years here. So he's almost on like the first 10 years. He's going to have over a 20-year career, isn't he? At senior level. Incredible, really. And he's even got because his face got torn apart from that foul. And looking at that picture now, I shall not share it. It's rank. And now he's got that kind of cool scar. So he's almost like he's got that character arc when he's come back from the future and he's got the scar across his face. I don't really know what I'm talking about. Sci-fi films. Anyway, let's read the article. On the oh my god. So, okay, yeah. On the immaculate lawns of Viltargs University, New Jersey, he carries his large frame with a smile. Serene. Ooh, it's très poétique. Paris Saint-Germain's overall domination of this Club World Cup, aside from the hot streak against Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals, 2-0, has almost relegated him to the background. What is this talking about? Gianluigi Donnarumma. Oh, it's saying the 26-year-old goalkeeper, the story of his contract running out has been gone into the background because PSG are just slapping everyone that they play football against. Gianluigi Donnarumma, 26 years old, nonetheless remains the protagonists of a historic season. A lot of people as well saw Donnarumma as this like maybe not suitable goalkeeper for Luis Enrique because he's really big and he makes amazing saves, but he's got flaws as well. Like for a really huge giant in net, he's not very commanding of his area, like on crosses or when things are going on. And there was perhaps like, how good is he with his feet? And also as well, like he's got a howler in him. He's got an absolute howler in him. We've seen it, and to the point where he was being put on like fraud watch for a while. I put him on fraud watch because he kept chucking them in. I'm going to jump over to get French football news now. That will be citing this. According to a report from L'Equipe, Gianluigi Donnarumma, who's 26 years old, is attracting interest from many clubs, including Chelsea. I would like to say, before we go on, this is not the first time in recent months Chelsea have been linked with Gigi Donnarumma, loosely. But this is coming from L'Equipe, la première publication de française, in terms of sport. The big headline maker. It's obviously trying to get clicks before they play Chelsea in the final. The Italian international goalkeeper's future remains unknown, with his contract set to expire. Oh, he's at the end of this season, or has he got 12 months left? I need to get to the bottom. Let me pause. Let me get to the bottom of this. I've just searched Gianluigi Donnarumma transfer mark because I want to see his contract, and for some reason it's showing his brother, who is also a footballer who's 9 years older than him, 35, and he looks so much like him. Let me just share the screen. Look at this. Look at that. It looks like some geezer you meet down the pub and you go, "Oi, you look like the PSG goalkeeper." I'll leave it out, mate. I'm here for a quiet beer. He's even making that face. Yeah. I mean, obviously he looks like he's his brother, but that's just funny. It's funny how he's got a brother who's also a goalkeeper. Plays for Torino, 35 years old. So let's get to the bottom of this contract thing. There's our boy. There's our future goalkeeper, Gigi Donnarumma. What's his contract saying? Okay, so his contract expires in a year's time. So at the end of this, I was getting confused because the end of this season, everyone's saying the Club World Cup is still the last campaign, though clubs have already started the pre-season for the next campaign. So we're literally in some weird like multiverse where, the two campaigns have melted together, which is, my brain melts at the best of times by itself. So I don't need that. Donnarumma's situation has put clubs on high alert, with one of the game's best stoppers potentially being available on a free transfer in less than 12 months, which means in January. So he's like Mike Maignan. They're both high-profile goalkeepers going into their final 12 months. Let me just finish this, and then we'll talk about it. The West London club are one of many interested Chelsea in the 26-year-old services. They're not alone, with other Premier League clubs, including Manchester United. Lol. It's funny how you can just do a throwaway, like, laugh out loud at Man United now, the biggest club in England. This is where they are. Terrific banter. Long may it continue. And Manchester City, unsurprisingly, especially with Ederson trying to... He's been chasing that Saudi bag for, like, months/years now. Future to be decided soon. The goalkeeper's future will soon be decided. Donnarumma will make a decision on the future after the FIFA Club World Cup final when PSG take on Chelsea. Despite interest from other clubs, Get French Football News understands the former AC Milan stopper priority is to pen new terms. Well, look, let's quickly speak about this. This story has been around for a while. Yeah, and he's not extended. He's been linked with Chelsea. I actually think there were turbulent times with him at PSG. In terms of the fans weren't sure about him. He was going through like a tricky situation. There were howlers, but then there's also the last 6 months where PSG have become the best team on planet Earth, where he has not been doing any high-profile silliness, where he's been actually making good saves in high-profile games as well, including their run to the Champions League, triumph, winning the quadruple, just being excellent. He's wicked, yeah. So, look, Not just because if you asked me 6 months ago, the story would have been like, yeah, he probably will be considering moves elsewhere, but the way they've settled, man, why would you leave? Why would you leave? Now, don't get me wrong, if there was a chance to sign him, I would be like, well, yeah, obviously, Rob Sanchez, Gigi Donnarumma, makes sense. In terms of, again, listening to loads of, pundits, content creators, journalists, broadcasters, the line is that Mike Penders is the future. He's going to go to Strasbourg, which is good, I guess. You can try and emulate what Petrovic has done. Petrovic gone for 25 million to Bournemouth. It's good. Liam Rosinia, whatever he's got going on over there at Strasbourg, goalkeepers, a platform to do well. Hopefully, at least we're hoping that something continued with Penders. And of course, Penders is half a sort of generation younger than Gigi Donnarumma, whereas he is a full sort of generation younger than the likes of Mike Maignan. If you said to Jan, what's the perfect scenario right now? I'd say, right, just go get Mike Maignan, freaking do it. Win or lose the Club World Cup, God, I hope we win it. But it's as long as we, make a good account of ourselves, we would have made a lot of money, some signings, etc., etc. So just put a good account of yourselves in, sort of. That's all I'm really asking for. And just go get Mike Maignan. Because he is 30, Penders is like 20. He's like, they're a generation apart. Mike Maignan's not going to block Penders' long-term integration plan into Chelsea, whereas a Gigi Donnarumma would do. Because he's 26 and he's just so high profile, and he'd be like, yeah, let's just say Donnarumma was like, yeah, I'll come to Chelsea. London sounds wicked. I've won it all with PSG. I quite fancy this Chelsea project as well. If I just want to come to London, let's say he wants to come to London. He comes to London, but he's like, you can F off, Penders. I'm going to be here for next 5 years. And by the time Penders is 25, he's not going to be waiting. Do you know what I mean? He'll be like, elsewhere. So the succession planning would dictate someone like Mike Maignan is more appropriate. Let's bring it home. I reckon it's just an article to unsettle PSG or whatever, or just get clicks because they're trending in terms of search engine optimization because of the final. But it does tickle my fancy because it just brings up and rotates the conversation about a goalkeeper. We need a goalkeeper. I want a goalkeeper. I'm not... I don't know why I keep putting in this disclaimer. I'm not slagging off Sanchez. By almost saying that, I kind of am, aren't I? We're not trying to be mean to this guy. You're okay. But it's like almost condescending, isn't it? No, he's just not good enough for Chelsea. I want a new goalkeeper. He's good enough for other players, teams. He could go and maybe even play for a team playing in a European competition. But I want a big boy goalkeeper that settles down the young children in front of him, which is the Chelsea outfield players. And then everyone stays calm, and we have a really good goalkeeper in situ. And also, the conversation changes, right? As soon as we have a big boy serious contender goalkeeper, dare I say, the narrative may flip like it did, maybe unhelpfully, when we signed Romelu Lukaku. The missing piece of the Chelsea have signed the missing piece of the puzzle. That they will win the Premier League now because they've signed Lukaku. It's always unhelpful when that happens. I do wonder if that will happen if Chelsea, sign a goalkeeper. Anyway, I hope we do sign a goalkeeper. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Please do leave them in the comments. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Remember, there's daily content on here. I've done a preview of the PSG game. We did some tactics, fun stuff. Check it out if you want to. And also, if you are interested at all, I do daily content on the second channel, Football Yannick, non-Chelsea stuff. For example, I've been speaking a lot about the Arsenal fans, Arteta out, the Noni Madueke stuff, all that kind of good juicy gear, mate. So go check out that stuff over there. In the meantime, see you back either here or the other channel soon. Take care of yourselves, man. Peace.